Hi guys, welcome to Talking Sense. My name is C Chronicles and I post fragrance related content on this platform. If you're new, please do consider subscribing and joining the family. We do talk a lot about Middle Eastern fragrances on this particular channel. Now, if you're returning, thank you so much guys for the continued support. I have in front of me all the Orienticas in my collection to give you a bias guide of the Orientica fragrances. This one is Royal Ember, guys. This, of course, is going to live to that promise of the Ember. It's sweet, it's citrusy with that vanillin note and a pineapple accord as well as a melon. So this is also going to be a little bit on the fresh side with that sweetness and an overdose of what feels like a lot of mixed fruit. This is somewhat in the same vein as Herba Pura, but the overdose. Orientica has got another one, a Royal Ember, not Royal Exclusive Ember. I want you to take note. This one is exclusive Royal Ember. They do have another Royal Ember without the exclusive. It doesn't have the red sticker there. And that one, of course, draws inspiration or kind of feels like the actual Herba Pura. Wow, this one feels like a twist. So the first one was exclusive Royal Ember. If you like just vanillin, sweet, fruity scents, then of course you're going to love that particular. Then we have exclusive Nado Oud. Okay, so this is the second one on the lineup, Nado Oud. I do have a code that's running on the Orientica website. If you go directly to the Orientica website, I believe this fragrance is $240, but if you put the code C100, you will be able to get this fragrance at $100 off. So you will get it at $140, if I'm not mistaken. That is off www.orienticaperfumes.com, or you can buy it in the UAE, whichever. Now, Nado Oud, guys, a sweet, leathery, fruity, floral. Also does have pineapple. I noticed that the house of Orientica loves to use pineapple. In this case, it's pineapple with blackcurrant and what feels like, mixed fruits again. But this one kind of veers in the direction of that Aventus Absolute without it being an outright clone. So if you're looking for something in that vein, you could perhaps purchase this. And what I like about the Orientica fragrances, guys, is the longevity. They seem to work on longevity. While some of their fragrances we have established now that do borrow from certain creations that are already on the market, the Orientica fragrances actually leave to the extrait. I find that most of them are really long lasting, some even crossing over to that 24-hour mark, which is a whole day. So what else would you want? So this is, guys, Nado Oud. Desert Dusk is one of my favorites. I cannot get enough of this fragrance, guys. I actually am looking to get a backup of this. It doesn't outright remind me of anything on the market. The one fragrance that I can put that makes me feel this way and is centered around the note of musk is that Musk K, Ella K, Musk K. Kind of get that. Also get what I get from Has a Gun, Not a Perfume by Juliet Has a Gun, but this one has more presence. So if you're looking for that powdery, creamy, makeup-y scent with that coconutty undertone, you can, purchase this one. I have seen it being compared to another 13 from the house of Le Labo. I don't have that fragrance. I can only give you reference to what I've used. So this is the third one, guys, Desert Dusk. Before I move on, let me talk about Proud Mary Extrait de Parfum. No, this is not an Orientica fragrance. However, we are running a promotion, a Valentine's Day promotion. So if you want to purchase Proud Mary Extrait de Parfum, and this is 120 ml, a fragrance that I created, you can go ahead and purchase it right now or any other time before Valentine's Day for $99, and do use the code C15 at checkout. Remember to use the code C15 at checkout. So this is Proud Mary Extrait de Parfum. It's a sweet, fruity floral. The top is going to be mixed fruits and that pineapple, and then the mid gets into the florals, which is the jasmine and other white florals, a little bit of spices, woods, little bit of patchouli, and a tonka and cardamom. So that is what to expect from Proud. Before I move on, let me talk about one that I do not have before I forget, Rose Eclat. Okay, Rose Eclat is their 2026 release. I do not have that one in my collection because when I smelt it at the Orientica stand, it immediately reminded me of Dania, in as much as they have gone on to list a note of some peach. I think it is nectarous according to the note pyramid. It has what I got mostly was an airy rose and peony with some fruitiness and a little bit of some musk and an insincere chord, and kind of reminded me of that Dania. So I did not bother adding that to my collection. However, if it's sent to me, of course I would love for it to complete my Orientica collection. Now another one that I have physically here is Azure Fantasy. This is going to be your fresh green aromatic spicy scent. This one is going to remind you of a body of water, even sitting by a poolside, that sort of thing. It does seem to be their impression of imagination, or at least it smells very similar to LV's Imagination. Imagination in itself is a fragrance that's popular amongst the guys. It does have a cologne accord, fresh accord, that sort of thing. So if you love that, you're going to love this. Moving on, we have Velvet Gold. One of my faves. This one does also remind me a little bit of Gentle Fluidity Gold. It's mostly going to be like on a violety vanillin side. So if you're looking for something that is in the same DNA pyramid as a Gentle Fluidity Gold, then Velvet Gold from the House of Orientica is going to do it for you. If you can see the dent, you can see I love this fragrance. I've used it a good while, and it's certainly one that, say for instance, I had the money, I would actually buy a backup. Next up is going to be Pistachio Absolute, the fragrance that was so like at the front of my cupboard, and the reason why I got some of you guys wanting an updated review on the Orienticas. Now this one has got the pistachio note. It's going to be a fragrance that carries that green, nutty pistachio in like a creamy accord or gourmand accords, that sort of thing. It does have that pistachio note, but it has a woody edge to it that makes me have the same feeling I had about Lattafa's Affection, a fragrance that did remind me a lot of that Yum Pistachio. Yum Pistachio is a Chiali fragrance, right? Then Lattafa gave us Affection of their Lattafa Pride collection, and it was one of those that amidst all the clones that I had for Yum Pistachio, I kept on saying I like this one, it kind of is sweeter and stuff. That's how I feel about this one. It's going to share that same pistachio note that they have, that has been used in Yum Pistachio. So for some it may be limiting in the experience, wherein once you spray it, you just kind of land on that Yum Pistachio and you cannot move ahead and feel the other notes. But yeah, if you want that Yum Pistachio-esque DNA, but with a woody tone around it and a nuttiness that's in check, then Pistachio Absolute is certainly going to do it for you. And then with Orientica Noble, okay, I'm going to be showing you my dents so that you can see which is which in terms of preference. I like this one. I do not have a problem with it. However, I made a discovery not so long ago. Let me just remind myself, and I'll tell you what. Okay, I made a discovery not so long ago where I sprayed this fragrance. You have to have a lot of fragrances, so sometimes I can leave a bottle to do what it's doing and then come to it later. For some reason, this fragrance started reminding me of Trésor, okay, Trésor by Lancôme. It has a dustiness about it, which I feel a lot in this, a dusty, musky powderiness about it, which I feel, in this as well as in this. However, I'm just giving you that as like a mental shortcut. This one has an addition of that ginger note that adds a spiciness to it and somewhat of a faint citrusiness, amidst a woodiness. This, when I came with the first time, I told you, was very close to that Stellar Times, and I still maintain that I do get Stellar Times thingy in this fragrance, Stellar Times by Louis Vuitton. But why I showed you this one is for a mental shortcut. If it helps, then it helps. This, I did come to you guys with a full review, but I couldn't quite pin or give you like an accurate fragrance that it did remind me of at the time. And then I was doing whatever I was doing at some point when I, like I said, spraying some of the Orienticas, because I've had some for a very long time, and I have some that are pretty new in my collection. So while I was at it, I tried this one, and then I checked online to see what other people are saying about Dynasty, right? And some people did vote that Dynasty did remind them of Curve Rouge, and I felt so, what do you call it? I know, you know, when you feel like this has been one of those, you know, fragrances that I should have pinned or got to the bottom of almost immediately. You know, when I came with this one, I did tell you it did have like a fruity raspberry berry accord that gives it a tanginess, and it's sweet, and it does have the patchouli and the woods, okay? And after seeing that it's been compared to Curve Rouge, I sprayed them side by side, and yes, I wouldn't say it's 100. Curve Rouge is a fragrance by Maison Crivelli. I wouldn't say it's 100, but it does have the same weight in terms of the presence of those berries, that berry accord that you get in here, the raspberry accord, the tanginess and the sweetness is what you're going to get in this. Both also do have somewhat of the shower gel shampoo accord in them. So yeah, this would be you know, a great alternative if you wanted something along the DNA of this. So that is Dynasty. It does to an extent lean a little bit masculine. Next one is going to be Victory. Victory comes in a telltale bottle, almost like what I showed you with Azure Fantasy, that when you see a bottle like this, it takes you to a seaside or a body of water. That is what you'd expect the scent, you know, to smell like. And these square bottles have had scents that are leaning maybe 60% masculine, but yes, I can wear my my Noble, I can wear my Dynasty. Now, this Victory has got a cardamom that kind of umbrellas everything. So it's going to have a cardamom, and this cardamom is not bitter. It just adds a spiciness to this fragrance. And then it transitions into a rose and a saffron and a black currant. So you are going to get a fruitiness, you know, in this fragrance. This has that masculine appeal about it and has been likened by some people to YSL myself. I do not have that fragrance, but on its own, I do like it. I don't have a problem with it. It does represent the color so well. It will remind you of water. There is an aquaticness to this fragrance. It's also fresh, that sort of thing, and sweetness, freshness at the same time. So this one, guys, is Royal Collection Victory. Next up, guys, is going to be Monarch. Okay, another square bottle. This time it's not giving us like a light watery blue, but it is blue. It's kind of giving us like a what you call it, is it I can't remember what the name of that stone is. Okay, the color, but yes, there's a freshness to this fragrance, so perhaps that's why they decided to put it in you know, this color, but that freshness also has a green tangy backdrop and like a spiciness there, as well as the sweetness. This, in as much as it's sweet, it's citrusy, it's floral, a little bit green. There is a musk umbrella to this fragrance, and it is, I believe, I would say the musk that actually gives it this unisex appeal about it. This has been likened to musk therapy by Initio. I actually checked within my Initio collection to see if I do have musk therapy in a travel size. Didn't have that to compare. I'm just putting it out there that I've seen a couple of comparisons of Monarch, you know, to that Initio musk therapy. And then Orientica worked with Dania. I believe Dania is a socialite or she's a social media influencer from Mexico. If I'm wrong, guys, you can correct me there. This is another fragrance that was pleasant to my nose, and I do visit it from time to time. It is a bold white floral, guys. This has got that tuberose, okay, and that tuberose works with the gardenia. So this is going to be like a gang up of white florals, and not only that, the white florals are going to have a coconut accord to them, making it lactonic to an extent, making it sun-tanny to an extent. If you do not like fragrances, you know, that push that creamy, especially creamy coconut buttery accord, you might not like. It also adds to that creaminess a sandalwood that vibes as creamy as well. So I think you kind of get where I'm going with this, guys. This is going to be on the creamy side, bold white florals, intoxicating, loud. If you like those type of fragrances, you are going to love this particular one. This does remind me a little bit of that Bessiani, but I'm not sure that is what Dania or this particular fragrance was actually going for, because if I'm not mistaken, that Bessiani is new versus this. I've had this one, I think this is the second year, so I'm not sure, guys, but there is like a likeness to this, to that Bessiani, where there's a creaminess. This is very feminine to my nose. So yeah, this is Dania, guys. Then we have Cafe Arabia. This I did bring on the Valentine's fragrance recommendations, and I told you guys that if you are looking for a coffee scented scent from the house of Orientica, then they got you in Cafe Arabia. This is warm spices and caramel, and then that coffee. The coffee note in here doesn't exactly feel like a darkened or dark roast of coffee, but it does feel like half a spoon too much of a coffee, but without crossing over to the wake me up coffee, if you know what I mean. The coffee in here is present, okay, but it is also fused or joined by this milkiness. So imagine having a coffee, but not too strong like it's a wake up coffee, but it's a little bit like a half a spoon, a little bit of a strong coffee there. But then you add a cream, you know, a cream or coffee creamer that is really rich. That's how this one feels like. It is going to give you a generous dose of that coffee note, and then on top of that coffee and creaminess, add that brown sugar. Don't go slow on it. Make sure that you add loads of brown sugar and it feels sweet. And in this case, they didn't put brown sugar, but they put caramel. So the result is basically almost the same. Okay, so this is going to be your caramelized coffee cream gourmand scent. It's called Cafe Arabia. Does share a little bit in common with that Amor Cafe by Mancera. If that helps, then that helps. That's Cafe Arabia. And then we have Oud Saffron. This I have just bought a mini of. Okay, Orientica does make minis in case you're interested in some of these small ones to add to your collection. Now, Oud Saffron has got a metallic accord, like a metallic tang to the woods, to the spices, a little bit of some patchouli, that sort of thing. It's going to have a likeness or share a little bit of something in common with Oud Satin Mood, but not 100. It kind of feels like if Oud Satin Mood was fused with Oud Bouquet, right? But the Oud Bouquet by Lancôme was toned down in the oudiness, then that's what you're going to get. This, yes, does have oud, but it doesn't push that oud to a point where it gets to with Oud Bouquet. So that's kind of where it lingers between Oud Satin Mood and Oud Bouquet. It's going to have a leathery saffron to it as well, and a bit of some sweetness. So the woods are there, but they are soft. Oud Saffron. Then this is, I believe, what put this particular line in the limelight. This Ember Rouge. I think not many houses had played around with this caging of a bottle type of situation, where you have a bottle and then you encase it with something. So a lot of people were interested, you know, in Ember Rouge, and this took the internet space by storm because it was being compared a lot to that BR540. And yes, indeed, I believe BR540 should or could have been an inspiration in making this fragrance. Does feel like it borrows, you know, between both the regular 540 and the extract. So it's just gonna depend on what your nose gets, guys. But if you're looking for a fragrance with that saffron note, the amber green, and a soft, intimate, sweet accord to it, then this is going to do for you. This is Ember Rouge. And then we have Royal Bleu. Okay, it's bleu in how they've spelt it, but of course blue in English, bleu in French, I guess. Royal Bleu is a fresh, spicy, aromatic scent that highlights that lavender, and it is a lavender that makes this one aromatic. However, the lavender is working with a crisp notes of apple and citruses. This is a bright, airy scent, guys. It does have the woods, but the woods are very soft. So in this, guys, you are to expect a summery scented scent, something in the same vein as Perfumes de Marly Layton. This, guys, is Royal Bleu. Now, second from the last is going to be Royal Ember. They have Royal Ember without the red thing there, and then they have the Royal Exclusive Ember. So this is the Royal Ember without the exclusive. If you like that sweet pineapple, mixed fruit, citruses, that sort of thing, sweet accords, throw it in there. Arriving to something that's pretty much in the same vein as Pura, then this is going to be the one for you. This one is a Royal Ember. Now, the last bottle I have in full size, and I'm going to have put an honorable mention, or perhaps let me give you an honorable mention before I talk about this one, and that is Ember Noir. A spicy, warm, woody scent with a lot of sandalwood. The sandalwood in that particular one is green. Reason why I don't have it is I do have Santal 33 right here, and it does feel a lot like Santal 33, and there was a time that Santal 33 DNA kept on coming, and I didn't feel the need to purchase that either in a mini or in full size. But yes, Ember Noir, if you're looking for a sandalwood forward scent with a green pickle accord, then you could purchase that. Now, the last physical bottle I have is Melodie, the Orientica. The Orientica brand has got these in other colors. I don't have. This is the only one I have. And this, guys, is a combination of citruses. It pops up with that orange blossom. Let me just spray it. I don't know, I'm gonna smell like this the whole day because this is very orange blossom forward, pushing even borderline like cleaner. Okay, but it's the dry down with this one. If you can just go past the opening, you're gonna love the dry down. Let me show you. I hope my camera will be able to show you where it's at. Okay, this is where mine's at. I think you can see there, right there. That's where it's at. I love this fragrance, guys, but there's something about the opening that I do not like, where it just pushes to the surface that detergent thing, which I believe is mostly that orange blossom. But if you give it a little bit of some time, the orange blossom, of course, will infuse with the neroli, the grain, the bergamot. But after a while, a sweetness swoops in of the marshmallow candy note, and then it kind of is then in between sweet, powdery, candy-like white sugar scent, but with all these citruses. So yeah, that is the last one on the lineup, and this one does remind me a lot of that Sintra. I believe that is what they were going for, because this and Sintra are kind of like on the same, same path. So once I get more Orienticas, guys, I'm gonna come with them to you here, just give you like a quick run through of what's doing what. Now, before I close this video, remember to check out our website, www.macedonperfumes.com. Grab yourself a bottle of Proud Mary. It's going for $99, and that is a Valentine's promo. Get yourself this bottle. Just remember at checkout to use the code C15, and yes, you will have Proud Mary on its way to you. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we discuss more about fragrances. Remember to turn on post notifications. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one, and remember, guys, that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.